The other day after a big storm, I noticed this beautiful rainbow out the east window from my bathroom. Never eat soggy. So yeah, east. Beautiful rainbow. I thought I want to get the drone up in the air and see if I can take some pictures of that. That looks really cool. It was really, really vibrant. So by the time I got my drone together and got the remote out and the whole thing, launched it up into the air, it had kind of faded enough to where it wasn't good. Like you could see it, but it was nothing special. So I'm like, oh, that's fine, whatever, missed it. Landed the drone again, and as I turned around and faced west, which is now sunset, I noticed the sky was just turning this majestic pink like I'd never seen before. I don't know whether it's something to do with after the storm, there was still some mist in the air, or I don't know the science of it, but it was absolutely beautiful. So I launched the drone back up and I was just amazed at the footage I got. So I shot for about 10 minutes or something like that, and I got this. Which was absolutely stunning, and easily the best sunset I've ever shot. You know how sometimes you try, have you ever gone to shoot a sunset and then it just doesn't look as good in the camera as it looks in real life? And you see it all the time when people post their sunsets on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and there's always a caption, looked way better in real life. So that's my experience as well with shooting in phones, but also like with the drone, I've tried to get a bunch of sunsets. I'm like, man, what am I doing wrong? Why isn't this working very good? And so on this shoot, I accidentally found out what it was, and I want to talk about that because I was fascinated, and it's not that hard to get around, and you can grab really good sunset shots if that's what you want to do. So this is the raw footage of me shooting the drone up, of me launching the drone up into the sky. And so this is what I kind of saw initially, and you'll see what I mean as the camera kind of adjusted itself so that I could no longer see the sunset. So that looks all fine, it's going up into the air, everything's looking good, but it's gradually, you can see it's getting less and less and less. So the higher I launched the drone up into the air, the less sunset there was to see. Like the pink kind of faded and turned into a blue. So I didn't think too much of it. Obviously, it's just a white balance issue. So the camera is just adjusting itself to get what it deems is the best picture by adjusting the white balance. So, but I hadn't figured it out at this point. So I ended up pulling it back down and going, well, it worked when I was lower. So I went back lower, but it still didn't readjust itself. So I'm like, what is happening here? So then I shifted the camera away from this actual sunset into like the stormy looking clouds that were to the left here. And at that point I noticed just there that it turned really, really blue. So it went even more blue than what it had when I went up into the air. So I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Once it went blue, it came back to life and went orange again. I'm like, sweet, it's back. Whatever I did, I fixed it. So when I flung it back around, put it back up in the air again, the exact same thing happened. I lost all of the brilliant color, and I just ended up with like a really neat looking but sort of cool image instead of that really warm one that is a sunset. So then I figured out, I did that a few more times, and I figured out it's just because I haven't locked off the white balance. So I learned this ages ago with exposure, and whenever I'm using my actual camera, always lock off the white balance because it's changing all the time, especially if you're outside. If something goes behind a cloud or you go in a shadow or something, the color that the camera perceives as white, and from there all the other colors are made, it kind of adjusts that so that it looks really good. So you know about warm or cool or something like that. So I figured out it's just, I need to lock off the white balance just like I lock off the exposure. So if you don't lock off the exposure, it means as soon as you get into a brighter spot, the camera makes it darker. And as soon as you get into a dark spot, it makes it really lighter. Makes it really lighter, makes it bunch lighter makes it lighter. I like locking it off because sometimes you want to shoot that dark bit and then sometimes you want to shoot that light bit. You don't want it to be adjusting so every time you go dark it goes light, because it gets rid of all that dynamic. So you would have seen in that shot when I went behind trees and stuff, they were black. So if I didn't lock off my exposure, then those trees would have lit up and you would have seen the green and the color of those, and then the sky would have dipped down lower to kind of compensate. So what I wasn't doing though was locking off my white balance. So with my drone, usually, because I'm not there, so what the camera sees up there, usually it does a pretty good job of doing the auto white balance, as does your phone. So these auto settings are great because it means we can just really quickly grab a shot without having to dial in the settings all the time to do it. So that's great. And same with the drone, you want to get that up there, that's what I need to take, and you can just take it straight away. So that doesn't work all the time when you want a really specific look, which is what you're going for in a sunset. So what's happening is the sunset is incredibly warm, like those vibrant pinks and oranges and purples that I had in that shot, super, super warm. So the camera's saying, wow, that's unnaturally warm, let's make that cooler. And then it goes into the blue clouds like, wow, that's unnaturally cool, let's make that warmer. So when I actually locked off the white balance, it turned out perfectly and it looks awesome. So that's all you need to do if you ever want to capture a cool sunset like this. If you've got a drone and you've never able to get your sunsets, or on your phone, never able to get your sunsets. It's hard with the phone because it's not really intuitive. You have to get an app usually where you can go in and adjust settings and you'll find your white balance, and you can change that warmer or cooler. But if you lock that off, it looks really cool. So if you enjoyed, well, first of all, if this isn't the best sunset you've ever seen, then you need to show me a photo of the best sunset you've ever seen. But for me, this was like, it felt like I came into my wife and I'm like, I just took a 1 in a million video. Like, I don't think we'll ever see another sunset that vibrant. We probably will. Maybe I've just never seen it before. Maybe I've just never had a drone in the air while there's been a sunset with my white balance locked off. Something a bit different for this video. I just love being creative. I love getting out there with my camera at the moment, just taking really good shots, just kind of learning it like I've been talking about today, and getting stunning creative things. So I do a lot of music. This channel is full of a bunch of covers, and I've got some more of that coming, but I just wanted to share some other little creative things that I'm working on as well, because I get a lot of thrill and enjoyment out of them, and you probably will as well. So if you enjoy that kind of thing, subscribe to the channel, stick around because I've got some more videos on the way. See ya.